All right. Good afternoon. I feel like I should move the podium over to this side. I feel like nobody's over here. I did shower today and everything, so. But nonetheless, welcome. Give me a little feedback. We jinxed it, mics. Anyways, welcome to this edition of State of the Castle. And before I forget, because I probably will, I wish each of you a happy Thanksgiving as we look forward to everything we are thankful for in reflecting, but also looking forward to. So I'm thankful for the time that we have together today to bring you a number of updates. And without further ado, we might as well kick it right off with Anna Landis, our Director of Sales and Marketing, who's going to provide a little update just on touching on what she has upcoming. And we may ditch the mic and just talk loud because I can't deal with this feedback the entire time. But she's going to give just kind of a brief update of what's upcoming with the expansion. And then I actually will be also sharing more on the expansion and actually have a few renderings to show you that are very fresh, that we're very excited. So without further ado, Anna, take it away.
Hello. Thank you, Tyler. Great to see you all, and before I forget to, happy Thanksgiving to you all as well. Been working with my son on what does a turkey say? Gobble, 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 gobble. So he gets it maybe 1 out of 5 times. So as Tyler said, wanted to provide a little bit of an update on what my department is up to these days. First, I will share we've had a little bit of a change in personnel. So Fern Gonzalez, who was our marketing coordinator, is no longer at East Castle Place. She received a wonderful opportunity and was very, very sad to leave us, but she finished up her days with us last week. So we are currently seeking a new marketing and move-in coordinator to help with that process. So, in the meantime, if you have any questions that you might have gone to Fern about regarding storage, things of that nature, you're welcome to contact myself, and I'm happy to assist. Also, thank you to those of you that were at our design meetings last Tuesday, I guess it was, with RDG. I thought that was a lot of fun to meet with you all and kind of see what your thoughts and opinions were. So what we are starting next Monday is the big day, is what we call the conversions process. So we have built a list of individuals who are interested in the new apartment homes. And starting next week, we will be meeting with almost 40 of those individuals over the next 2 months to have the opportunity for them to reserve one of those new apartments. So as Tyler said, he's going to share more about that later, and you'll see the renderings that we'll share with that group also. But we're really kicking off that sales process for the new apartments next week. As you probably noticed, we also have been working on the 2 welcome centers up by Lila. So we're still in the finishing stages, putting the final touches on those spaces, and that's where we'll be meeting with those individuals as we talk about the new apartments as well. So if you ever have any questions about future plans and what's to come, I know Tyler and I are always happy to address those. So that is what sales and marketing is up to. Any questions? Yes, Mrs. Sundberg.
Since Fern has left, she's the one who did the directory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great question. So Mrs. Sundberg was asking about the photo directories. Maureen Scribner has graciously offered her assistance, so her and I will work together on making sure we continue to get you updated there. Which brings me to a point that I missed. We had 2 residents join us in November here, so as many of you may have met Nancy Buddy on the 2nd floor of Contemporary, and then Mr. and Mrs. Herzing on the 1st floor of Historic. Next month, we have 1 scheduled move-in, actually next Friday, December 3rd. Diane Gannier will be joining us on the 4th floor of the Contemporary building, so that's Friday, December 3rd. So please welcome her as she's coming from out of state. She has family close by, so that's what brings her here, but she's very excited to join the community then. Good question. Anything else?
What unit did you say this new person was coming into?
4306. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Anna. The next individual up is Lindsay McGoot in the Health Center. She's also going to be providing a little bit of an update regarding not only COVID-19, but also the booster shot and some plans that we'll be working towards. So, Lindsay, take it away.
Thank you, Tyler. Good afternoon, everyone. So from a COVID-19 update, we have gone through our 2 phases of vaccine mandates with our staff, meaning 96% of all of our staff are vaccinated. And so there's just a few outliers who are pool, who haven't been on site. So that is absolutely fantastic news that every person that you are interacting with is fully vaccinated here at East Castle. Now, a lot of questions have come up about the COVID-19 booster shots. How many of you have already received your booster? Oh, awesome. That's great news.
Already have it.
Perfect. Yes, already have had the booster. So we will be offering the booster shot here on site in partnership with our pharmacy company, Health Direct out of Brookfield. So this will be tentatively December 7th from 1 to 4 p.m. And that will be hosted by Health Direct, and our East Castle nursing team will be providing the vaccine booster to our assisted living, anyone in independent living, the few who are still left, as well as our healthcare areas. In the interim leading up to 2 weeks from now, I encourage each and every one of you to still make an appointment, go out to the community in order to receive that. As I know, almost all areas, CVS and Walgreens partners, neighboring partners, do have booster available. So there will be a sign up in the club room after this meeting, or about an hour after this meeting. It's almost ready. In order to select a time slot. So encourage your friends who aren't here, who you know are looking for the booster, have not received it, and have them sign up for one of the time slots. So, and then there will be further communication about the consents and paperwork next week available, and they will be due back by Friday.
You know which one they're getting?
It will be the Moderna. And then we do have the option to get the Pfizer as well. If anyone received their 2-step Pfizer shot or want to mix in Pfizer with their original Moderna. So, any other questions? Okay.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. I did hear a few say, well, finally, right? And it's kind of well after the fact that you all received your booster already. So thank you for getting your boosters. Know that we were working closely with our pharmacy the entire time. And fortunately, or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, the pharmacy is very much dictated by the federal government. And so, again, they were working closely, and we have to give them exact counts of individuals that need the booster vaccine in order to get the booster vaccine. And so that wasn't an easy process. It was something we've been working on for over 6 to 8 weeks. And so again, I apologize that we're getting it to you now. Again, we weren't trying to withhold it from you by any stretch of the imagination. And I want to applaud you that have gone proactively out to get the vaccine. So thank you for that. Again, know that we took a lot of time, energy, and effort to make sure you were also protected from the staff that are serving you. And the average right now in long-term care, senior living settings is 40% vaccination rate for employees. So you should feel very confident and good about the employees that are caring for you at over a 96% vaccination rate. And now that the flu vaccine is also a piece that our employees also are required to get. And I know that Teresa worked closely to provide that flu vaccine on site for you. So again, I do apologize for the delay in getting you the booster opportunity. I applaud you for going out on your own to get the booster vaccine. And again, tell any of your friends. We also are looking to open that up to staff members for their boosters as well. And so again, if you have friends or neighbors that do not have their booster yet and are waiting for that on-site clinic, we will be able to provide that, and again, we'll keep you abreast of that date. All right, the next individual up is coming to us from the back of the room, but he will make his way forward. Mike Brever. And he's also going to give an update on the Christmas of the Castle. Mike's been working very closely with a number of you in regards to this. Just a quick segue, Laura Weckler has been out. I don't know if you've seen that. She will look to return to us in early to mid-December. So again, Mike is helping out the team there. And of course, her team is very, very good at making sure the activities go forward as planned. But just wanted to provide that update. I'll have a few more of those updates as I'm also trying to assist the team in making sure that they're fully able to execute all of the holiday plans and resident likes and wants. So, Mike, take it away.
Thank you, Tyler. So, just to get settled, usually I have 3 minutes worth of things to talk about, and it takes me 10 minutes. So today I've got 10 minutes worth of things to talk about, so just settle back. Quite a few things for myself and things for Laura as well. First of all, it's not on anybody's agenda, but you will find out next week something that I wanted to make you aware of. I know that the Employee Appreciation Fund is in full swing right now, and we really don't want to do anything to detract from that. But there is an effort that will be kicking off on Monday, and it will last for about 2 weeks. You will notice in the front lobby that there will be 2 large boxes. They're decorated for the holidays. We will be collecting winter apparel in one of the boxes for children, boots, hats, gloves, winter coats. In the other one, we will be collecting toys. This is a joint effort between staff and residents. If any of you wish to cooperate or participate, that's wonderful. Staff will be asked to as well. And there are local charities around town that will benefit from this. So when you see those boxes in the lobby, you'll also probably receive a flyer on your ledge over the next several days. That is what it's all about. Now, in regard to the Employee Appreciation Fund, normally this would be Barb Hill, who is bringing you up to date. She is the representative from the council that has been really working very, very hard on this. But she was not able to prepare the report because we didn't get a chance to talk before today's meeting. So I will give it on her behalf. As of this morning, I emptied out the box, I logged all the donations. We have received $45,207 to date. That comes from 62 donors. Now, I mean, if you think about the fact that, you know, we have a lot fewer units that are occupiable now. First and second at Bradford are not occupied. First floor at Water Tower is not occupied. To be able to say that we have 62 donors, I think is wonderful. Of those 62, 57 are actually residents today. 5 people donated, in some cases as a memorial to a loved one that has passed. In some cases, people were on the monthly plan and donated, and they've either moved or something of that nature. So we've had 57 residents. We've collected $45,207. For those of you that are curious, you remember Barb pointed out that a suggested contribution is $10 a week. That's based on the fact that if you were going out to dinner once or twice a week, 15 or 20% tip, that's about what you would give. In reality, well, that comes to $520 if you followed the guideline that Barb suggested and the council suggested. In reality, on an aggregate, we received donations on average of $729 per donor. Now, you know, some people have 2 in a unit, and so they gave, you know, more than $520. But at any rate, it's an exemplary amount. I thank all of you that have contributed thus far. you know, it will make a much better holiday season for the hourly staff that will benefit from your generosity. I hasten to remind you that people like myself, the wonderful people you see in the back corner over here, Tyler, we do not benefit from this. It is the hourly employees who benefit from this, the ones who serve you on a daily basis. They bring you your food, they fix things in your apartments, maybe they drive you somewhere when you need to go there. Maybe some of you take advantage of the laundry service. Those are the people that benefit from this. And on their behalf, I want to thank all of you. You have until next week, Wednesday, the end of work Wednesday next week, December 1st is the deadline. The reason for that is that these funds are distributed to the hourly staff during the normal payroll period. The last payroll before Christmas Eve is December 10th. And it takes Brad and his staff, really, it takes them about a week to process the amount of money that was collected, figure out how many staff participate or benefit from it. So if any of you were to come to me on Thursday morning with a check, I'm not going to say, oh my God, you're too late. You know, we'll try to squeeze it in. The other thing I can tell you is that it, as always happens, this is a running amount. People that donate after the 1st, if we cannot get it into this year's fund, your donation is dedicated to the Employee Appreciation Fund. If we do not get to do it this year because you donated after next week, Wednesday, it will carry over and it will be distributed next year. It does not go into the general fund. It does not help buy, you know, a new piece of equipment here at East Castle. It is dedicated to the Employee Appreciation Fund, and we will ensure that it's given out to those employees. If not this year because you were too late, then next year. I'd like to talk for a brief moment about Christmas at the Castle. As Tyler intimated, Laura worked very hard on this before she took her leave. I worked with her, so I have an idea about some of these things, and I'm having trouble finding my notes right now, but here they are. I can assure you it's extensive, so I want to work from notes. For those of you that think Christmas at the Castle is next week, Sunday, December 5th, you are sadly mistaken. It's a week's worth of activities that really begin with decorating the castle, which starts on Monday of next week, the 29th, and it goes through Wednesday, the 30th. There also, beginning Wednesday, are two main areas that have activity happening virtually every day. One of which is the fireplace room, just off of the main entrance. The treasure chest will be moving upstairs. As you know, Margaret and her volunteers all year long have been setting aside all items that were donated that have a holiday theme to them. Those will be coming upstairs. It is not called the treasure chest that's up there, the boutique. The boutique will be in the fireplace room. That will be open Thursday and Friday of next week. For those of you that are regular treasure chest volunteers and were assigned to work next week, Friday the 3rd, please be aware that we will not be open downstairs on Friday the 3rd. We will be open upstairs in the fireplace room, the boutique, next week Friday. And if you were assigned to work next week Friday, please come upstairs. That's where you will put in your 10 to noon shift. That room, we will start setting it up. Bruce, and Marv will be bringing everything up on Wednesday and Thursday and getting it set up. other people that are much more talented at displaying items than myself. I would just throw them on a table and that would be it. But people who are very talented at this will work on Thursday getting that all set up. We will take it all down again on Friday and return it to the fireplace room. The club room is going to be set up as well, because there will be a significant number of items that are available in that room. There is still leftover East Castle Place wine, the world famous cherry pickles, raffle tickets, which I'm going to explain in a minute, East Castle Place scarves. All of those things are going to be in the club room. And I believe that's going to be open Thursday through Sunday. Joe, am I right? Thursday through Sunday, right. So we're working on volunteers for that as well. For Christmas at the Castle, really formally for the first time now since the coronavirus pandemic hit over about 24 months ago now, we'll be accepting credit cards and cash. People can come with credit cards or cash and purchase things in the boutique, or they can purchase things in the club room. We also, beginning Wednesday, we will have 6 tables set up in the corridors of the first floor, and there will be raffle items there, just like last year, bucket raffles. We will have 12 items. I am told that volunteers have been hard at work all this week and part of last week getting everything ready. The 12 raffle items, you're going to love them. You're going to want to win all of them if you can, but you're going to have to choose which of the buckets to put your raffle tickets in. Those will be $1 a piece, 6 for $5, something like that. Okay. So people will be selling those raffle tickets in the club room Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday Thursday and Friday, okay? But Saturday we'll still be selling the logo items in there, okay. We will be announcing the raffle winners on Sunday in the dining room during the after-concert holiday social. So buy your tickets by the end of Friday, put them in the items that you're interested in, and we will go from there. There also is an opportunity for you to volunteer if you would like. First of all, if you'd like to work at the boutique, please see Margaret. She is working on that. If people would like to work in the club room, see Joe. Joe can help you get involved in that. Also, beginning next Wednesday, we have a very special holiday-themed activity you can get involved in the Creativity Center downstairs. We will be preparing the holiday trees, the little ones, that get distributed on every floor throughout East Castle Place. For 2 or 3 days, people work on them in the Creativity Center, and then Saturday, we actually take them and distribute them throughout. There's the holiday concert. It's not the full holiday concert that's going to take place later in December, but you're going to get a sneak preview. There's 3 or 4 songs that Gary and the choir will sing for you right here in Lindsay Hall on Sunday. Immediately after that, you go into the dining room for a bit of a social. We announce the raffle winners. You're going to have a great time. If any of you really feel a need to get in that Christmas spirit, put on that ugly Christmas sweater that you got and bring that down too. We'd love to see all of those as well. Last but not least, there is also next week a movie festival that will take place on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings of next week. Holiday-themed movies shown right here at the East Castle Place Cineplex. We also have arranged with Majorca and her staff. They will be providing popcorn on movie night, each of those nights, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we hope you all come down and join us for that. What better way to really get in the holiday spirit? And So if you have any questions about that, come see me. You will receive a handout on your ledge over the next day or so, which will try to have a delineation of activities on a per day basis, so that you'll know where to go, when to be there, what to expect. So that's going to be handed out as well. Last but not least, I have the distinct pleasure of wrapping up the scavenger hunt. I know many of you participated in that, and you're curious as to what the result of it was. Several people have already asked, gee, I participated, I turned it in. What happened? Well, let me show you.
Mike, I can be your banner.
Here we go. Obviously, they're in order of size.
Yeah. That's it. Third place, second place, first place.
That's correct, that's correct. Oh, by the way, I have gift cards worth, how much? Gift cards worth an enormous amount of money to Sendix. Go to the first, second, and third place as well, one to each. I can tell you, by the way, those of you that played and had a wonderful time with this, we've already got the trophies for the 2022 scavenger hunt. It'll be all new questions. You're going to love it. So there you have it. There were 20 questions, as you all recall. 2 of the questions had multiple part answers. One of them had 3 parts to it. One of them had 2 parts to it. Believe it or not, I went over this extensively last night. Some people got all 3 right, some got 2 of the 3 right, some got both of the 2 right, some got 1 of the 2 right. I had to break it down into sixths to figure out, you know, who won the most. I thank all of you for participating. I hope you had a wonderful time. I should also tell you, while I have Vanna waiting here, I know he can't wait to get out here. Someone's motioning to me in the hallway here. I'm not sure what he's saying. Scott, he's trying to tell me that $35 is the amount of the gift cards to send in. There was one question that I had to make an arbitrary decision on. The question was, how many grand pianos are there at East Castle Place? The correct answer is not the answer that was prepared on the answer key. The correct answer is 0. There's baby grand pianos and there's grand pianos. The answer key had a specific number on it, but the person who made out the answer key wasn't aware of the distinction. So the correct answer, based on the person who made out the answer key, and those of you who played and are wondering, there were 6. For those of you that played, the first is on the first floor of Bradford Terrace in the entranceway over there. The second is in the first floor Bradford Terrace Library to the right on the first floor as you head down there. The third is on the second floor of Bradford Terrace in the lobby area up there. The fourth, and this is where I had to kind of come up with a command decision on this, it's on the 3rd floor of Bradford Terrace in memory care. Many of you never get an opportunity to get up there, but we entertain our guests up there on a regular basis with another piano. There is one right here in Lindsay Hall. This, by the way, is a baby grand, not a grand. And the 6th is the first floor of Water Tower. Okay? So what I had to do, 3 people got 19 of the 20 correct. I had to, I checked with the foremost authority I could find on this, Mr. U.N. Owen from the Scavenger Hall of Fame in Poughkeepsie, Idaho. Said the way to do this would be to use the ones who got closest to the correct amount of pianos. The one who had 19 answers correct and identified 5 of the 6 pianos was Terry Sundberg. Terry, there you go. I'm sorry, that was first place. That was first place. I should have gone in reverse order. There you go, Terry Sundberg. Yeah, I'm new with this. What can I say? second place also had 19 questions correct, but identified 4 of the 6 pianos as Polly Tarantino. There's Polly right there. And the third person who got 19 questions correct and identified 3 pianos was Sandra Meyer. So Sandra's not here right now. So those were the 3. I can also tell you that everybody did a wonderful job. The least amount that anybody got, and this is where the fractions come in because some had 3 parts, some had 2 parts, with 16 1/6 answers correct, was in Marion Pullman. Joe Schmidt had 17, Susan Sinzak had 18, Pat Crump, again, fractions, 18 2/3 questions correct. Thank you all for playing. I hope you had a fun time. I know from having spoken with Laura, we're going to do this again, and as I pointed out, we've already got the trophies, so we will be doing it. Can I answer any questions for anybody about any of these myriad of topics that I've gone through? Thank you all very much. Now, back to Tyler.
And if anybody missed any of that, it is recorded and replayed. So you can definitely take 30 minutes of your life and go back through that. Thank you, Mike, for the always in-depth explanation and information that you are very well known to provide. Again, congratulations to all of our scavenger goers. I think that was a lot of fun. So I think there's a number of other treasures and insights that we'll have next year as well. So again, don't save the answer key and try and do what I do sometimes and just repeat. All right, the next individual up is our Director of Hospitality, Majarka. Majarka has a couple of updates for you regarding our dining services. Majarka.
Hello, how are you guys all? Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. So just a couple updates for you. I know when I met you all last month, we had talked about reopening the dining room for lunch. We are currently getting some more staff, so our hope is that January 3rd, we will have the dining room open for lunch again. We hired a new individual who starts next week, and then we're looking for one more person. We just want to make sure we can give you consistent service and focus on dinner right now. Please look in the next coming weeks that we will have a Christmas and New Year's menu out, but we are going to require reservations, much like we did for Thanksgiving. So we will get a flyer to all of you to put in your mailboxes with the menu and the times, and we just want to make sure that you call down and let us know when you want to come so we can staff appropriately and we can prepare enough food for everybody. One of the things that Tyler mentioned when I first started is possibly opening the dining room again to guests. With the COVID numbers where they're at right now, we're going to hold off on that and we're going to look at that come the new year when hopefully after people get their booster shots, numbers go back down a little bit. So that we're just going to kind of table for right now as well. And the last thing I have is we will have a resident food and beverage committee on December 8th. At that meeting, we will kind of go over our thoughts and plans for Christmas with the committee. We will also kind of recap the new dining program and see how everybody likes it and if there's more questions on that. And then we will also discuss, one more thing, Tyler, what else are we going to discuss? Oh, your bills. If you guys have questions on your bills, because you'll have had the new dining plan for a month, so when you get your bill, if there's any questions, let us know and we'll go over it with you guys. Any other questions? Yes?
Is that meeting open only to the committee or to everybody?
Yeah, so the resident food and beverage committee will still meet on their own. That is the first Thursday of the month, which I believe is the 1st. The 8th is an open meeting for all residents, based on feedback from the food and beverage committee, as well as the resident council. Essentially approved a description and kind of overview of the food and beverage program that describes the meals, that describes the points program, that describes your kind of where you've landed in the grouping. So it's more of an informational community-wide meeting December 8th, and that'll be at 2 p.m. right now. Check your calendars, but that will be open to the entire community. The committee itself will meet at its regular scheduled time. So I apologize for jargon. Does that make sense for everybody? Yeah. Okay, it's just really wanting to try to get ahead because we have made some changes that went into effect November 1st. We want to make sure that after the 30 days or so, you have the opportunity to say, hey, I was charged or what, why, and just give you the avenue to really discuss and understand, what the Food and Beverage Committee has been discussing, but also your own resident council. So again, that will actually, there will be a preview of that in your mailboxes next week.
All right, any other questions?
All right.
All right, thank you, Ms. Sharka. All right, so I know that there's a lot on my list, but trust me, we'll go through this. And again, there's some resident comments and questions. COVID-19, I think Lindsay really hit it on the head. We are doing very well from a community standpoint. We currently do not have any residents with COVID-19 really that is in kind of symptom holding or watch, so to speak. Of course, we're still monitoring our employees and going through our protocols, but we are very pleased that the number of Lindsay reported of roughly 96%. Again, we did have a few medical and or religious exemptions. They're going through a more stringent testing and protocol as opposed to those that are vaccinated. However, even those that are vaccinated, if they have COVID-19 symptoms, they're being held up. So again, our protocols are still pretty stringent. There was a comment that said it is time to terminate outsiders' use of the pool. We are paying for this pool, and it's time for it to be open at all times for us without interference from outsiders. So I didn't really have a chance to speak with Willa. This has been brought up before. And the pool has, for really since I believe it's been open, since 2001, has been an offering that we've given to community members to utilize when it's kind of downtime for normal resident activities. So I guess and again, I understand you do have priority. This is your pool, but as a nonprofit giving back to the community piece, it's something that East Council Place has offered. Now, if we have an overwhelming number of residents say, Tyler, it's time that we do cut it off, I think that's a community decision that we can make. It is not a revenue driver for us, so I don't want you to think the decision to keep the pool open is because of money. It is not. It's purely because we want to be a part of our Downer and North Point neighborhood community. So again, at this time, we're not making any changes to the access to the pool. I do know that in talking with Willie, the classes are still safe and able to resume. Each and every swimmer has been vaccinated, and we've had that on file. That's the only way they're able to come into the pool, since they aren't able to wear masks and they are from the outside. But again, if a wellness committee, if you say to the wellness committee, and there's a number of you that say, it is time. Again, this is your home, and I want to respect the decisions that you make, but I also want to be a part of our community. And so again, it's that fine line, but yes, you do have priority. Resident question: in 2020, Gary Aubrey helped residents register for voting. Who will help in 2022? I'm not sure. I think this is public knowledge, and if it's not, I apologize, but Gary Aubrey is retiring at the end of this year. And so again, Gary has been a part of the community for over 25 years, has impacted well beyond those years too, and impact to come. So who's going to help in 2022? We will make sure somebody's available and trained. I'm not going to say that is my expertise. Politics is not. I'll be the first one to share that with you. But we will ensure that somebody is available to you to assist in casting those appropriate voting ballots, in making sure, because I do know that there's also some questions around the process itself. We want to make sure we're staying within line, within law, and we will make sure that that happens. Quickly, does anybody know the first time that we need to make sure that's in place in 2022? Is it April? Is there a local?
I think it was in February.
Is there February? Thanks, Jim. And again, so we will make sure that we have, I know Laura has some understanding of that, and so she may be appointed person. Otherwise, I fully trust that we'll find a staff member. And I know that a number of you as residents also are resources, but I know that's also an interesting line, so I don't want to put anybody in a precarious situation. So we'll have an unbiased staff member that can make sure that they facilitate. Yes, Judy?
Are you looking to hire for Gary's position?
Yes, we have already. So the question was, are we looking to hire for Gary's position? So yes, we have. We have already started to backfill that position. Gary gave us the heads up. His duties, if you remember, are for the water tower or assisted living building. And so that is where we are looking to fill, and believe we have. So we're allowing Gary to help train and onboard the individual. But also the next question, and Judy, maybe this is on everybody's mind, what about choir, right? And that's where we'll be working with Gary to hopefully make him still a part of the community. Joe, you have your hand up?
I just was gonna say that Scott worked closely with Gary on the last election. And so knows one of the advantages of Gary was that he had this contact for delivering the ballots, and Scott went with him every time, so.
Okay. So I have made a note to make sure that we get all of Gary's knowledge summed up, hopefully on a piece of paper, that we can follow step by step, and it's good to know. I figured that Laura and the department had kind of a handle on it, but again, by February, or that first election time, that there will be somebody available. The salon closed until further notice. The salon grand opening is canceled. So this is really, really unfortunate news that I found out about on Monday, and I really actually pushed back because it was an unfortunate situation that nobody could have planned for. So the beautician Izzy, who serviced us for a week, unfortunately has rotator cuff surgery, and so she actually won't be able to return to beauticianing. So your salon is still in place, but Izzy was their one person, and so again, they do have salons up north, and so, but again, they have commitments there, and so I just got word today, and you'll see a posting December 2nd and 3rd and 9th and 10th. The salons will be open and servicing for you on those days. So we'll make sure you have appointments available, and then after the first of the year, they've already started the hiring process. They have guaranteed us to be open as normal after the first of the year. They just have some coverage things that they're working through with the holidays and things of that nature. So I was not pleased with their answer, and I said, you need to do better than that. These residents deserve to be able to have services provided on site, and also started off with a really good foot. I think I heard a lot of positive feedback on the beauticians. So again, wanting to make sure that service is available to you. So that's even been changed slightly. Some late breaking news. Resident question, will there be another resident discussion about renovation? There's a need for a series of future meetings involving residents. Many residents are concerned about the large amount of tile being used rather than carpet. Too easy to slip. I'm actually going to hold on that one because I actually have some slides. So I'm going to pass on that one, and we'll wrap the meeting up. Resident question, with the COVID numbers increasing, will guests be allowed at Christmas at the Castle? I think Mike addressed that. We are not allowing for guests. It will be a little bit different of a Christmas at the Castle than traditionally was had with the silver tea and the different offerings. Again, I think I'm excited to see what you as residents have really put together to make it a kind of swing it on the holidays, for lack of a better term, but it will be pretty much limited to us at East Castle Place. And so again, we have some really nice plans. I think for the holiday concert, that's kind of what we're saving up for, to make sure that we can have some of your friends and families. My guess is we're gonna have to limit those numbers this year, just based on space and just for precautionary reasons. But nonetheless, I'm sure we will film the Christmas events ongoing so that you can share them with family if you would like. The resident question, can residents have real trees and real candles during Christmas? The answer is you cannot have candles on your real Christmas tree. That is a fire hazard. And really, we do not want you to have real Christmas trees in your homes due to fire hazards. Also, getting the trees out, I do not expect maintenance or housekeeping to clean up the pine needles. And so if you do have a real tree, I would ask that you run that past me, and then know that there will be a fee for cleanup and disposal for having those trees. That is well outside the normal scope of what housekeeping and maintenance is expected to do. And so I understand if you really want that real tree and you feel it's very important because of the traditions that you have. I want to work with you and honor that, but at the same time, I want to make sure that it's an individual choice and not necessarily a community choice. So again, a fake tree is by all means fair. If you have a real tree, please keep it watered. Do not put candles on it. And then as far as real candles, show of hands, you don't have to, but how many of you use real candles right now in your home? Ooh, one brave participant. It was Judy Christopherson, for those of you that didn't see that. No, I'm just kidding, Judy. If you're using real candles, again, be safe. Your apartments are fully sprinkled, but we don't want to test that system. So again, if you're using candles in your apartment, again, please be safe with them. We've never had an issue with real candles, vice versa. So I could be completely wrong in the resident handbook, because it's absolutely not. If I would put my back against the wall and say, no, you can't have real candles. At the same time, if you have real candles in your home, am I going to come knock on your door and do a candle check? Like they did in the dorms to make sure I didn't have, what Teresa would be having in college, that deer in her dorm, underage. No, absolutely not. But at the same time, we just want you to be safe. We want your neighbors to be safe. So use your judgment. If you have real questions, just stop down by my office, give me a call, give me an email, and I'm happy to come up and chat with you. So again, want to honor those traditions that you have of the holidays that you celebrate, all of them, including Hanukkah that's upcoming, the menorahs and things of that nature. So again, I know that's important. I want to make sure we honor that. Just want to be safe with it. All right, going back to another resident discussion about the renovation. There's a need for a series of future meetings involving resident input. I am excited to show a few renderings. So RDG came on site last Tuesday. We had the opportunity, there was a smaller resident group and then an open forum, so to speak, of residents that you could see these, have input, so on and so forth. So, give me one moment. So, to the question about more resident meetings, yes, there will be, but we're getting down the road. We're starting to make these decisions based on feedback from earlier groups, as well as just the concepts that we want. And so, what we're showing here, and this is not on the website. This is not going up until after the first of the year. This is for our priority members that Anna spoke about, as well as you as residents. This could be and will potentially be, again, this is an artist rendering, so not exact, but will be what we walked into as our lobby area. And so again, it is quite a dramatic change, but at the same time, it still speaks to that tradition, I think, that we all want. So again, to the question about the tile floor, so to speak, And the plan is for the majority to be LVT or a tile. Now the tile is built in with slip resistant, maintenance. It is for senior living spaces. So we feel good about that. There will also be carpeting and things of that nature mixed in. But, the other concern that I had that was brought up and they helped is just the noise that it could create as well. And so again, they're doing a lot more with some acoustic tiles and things of that nature to help limit that. But this is really when you walk in, you're gonna see a different front desk, a different color palette. You can kind of see into where the new library will be. And so obviously we'll be adding bookshelves, that's currently where the fireplace room is. And then obviously just upstairs as well. We're adding bookshelves and another spot for residents to curl up with a book, so to speak. Then, let's see if this works. Then this is the dining room. So again, we're redoing the dining room. One thing you probably can't see that I want to make sure I point out is there are casters on the chairs, on the front wheels. Right? I said we couldn't miss that, so that's even in the rendering. So what this really shows is, and you'll see the pub, but this is really looking from what I'd call today the club room back into the dining room. And so rather than entering where you currently are from right outside Lindsay Hall, you're actually going to be entering from the side. 2 reasons. It's more effective for you and efficient for staff from a walking standpoint, but also where the social hours could be and where you're kind of getting maybe that pre-dinner cocktail will be right across the hall. Then you see that bistro area. That will be the bistro. That will also be where the continental breakfast is placed. So the bistro that we currently have today goes away, and that becomes the general store in general terms. It will take that from the 2nd floor down to the 1st floor. And again, that is all obviously updated furniture, fixtures, carpeting, drapes, so on and so forth. But I think that space is going to be really, really effective, really, really beautiful. It's still going to be that warm, kind of cozy feel that we have currently. We'll be adding a 2nd private dining room as well to the dining room. It's not pictured here. But that's going to be the new look dining room. Now the last rendering I have to show you is the bar. And so this is going to be a signature piece of what we're going to be going through. And so the idea here is and this is going to be the club room and the library combined. So again, currently where the club room and library, those 2 spaces will be combined. And we'll have a full service bar. We'll have some beer on tap, wine. It'll also be a space that's transformed throughout the day. So this is also where I see, across picking up the coffee, the pastries, continental breakfast, bringing it across, catching up on the morning gossip in the news, papers, so on and so forth. Maybe then this transforms into the lunch space. It could have a couple different purposes. It's also where you can play bridge, things of that nature. And then of course in the evening, it can be your social spot. I know that the Romy Bar is a big hit. We'll still keep those, but also want it to be available to you for somewhere to go. I know in the number of senior living communities I've been a part of, this has always been a really fun space, come around 4 or 4:30. Whether you drink cocktails or not, again, there'll be soda, there'll be water, there'll be anything you want. But again, it'll just be a really, really nice space, I think, for us as a community to enjoy. This is coming. Yes, it won't be self-serve. We will have a bartender. So it won't be an honor bar or anything like that. I know, I see, Polly and Lou over there, shoot. At least hopefully not. I mean, if we get to a self-serve. It will be, again, part of the flexible dining program, things of that nature. And yes, it'll have a licensed, or, it'll have a fully liquor license. We do have a liquor license currently, but it will have a bartender. Bruce.
I've been a little confused, so I'm glad for illustrations, but my question is the impact of one area on the others. And my impression is that this is pretty open and pretty much each one edging in on the other's space, and that's a problem.
So one thing that I haven't shared and I can share it either one-on-one or in smaller group meetings is kind of the layout of the new areas. So again, this will be across the hall and blocked off completely from the library. So there won't be a door into the library. It'll be across the hall where across from the dining room. And so you'll have the club room and the current library into one bubble. Then you'll have a wall, and then on the other side of that wall, where the fireplace room currently is, will be your library. And so when you say mixing space and taking from one, can you help me understand it maybe a little bit more?
Is there a wall along the corridor, or is it all going to noise going to go from the corridor
So,
into the dining room?
thank you. Is that what you meant? So the open concept, right? And so if we go back a picture, there is a wall, so to speak. It's not as contained as we currently are. I will share that with you. It is more of an open concept, but that screen that you saw in the dining room, let's see if I can pull that picture back up. So this right here, there's going to be probably 3 or 4 of those around the dining room to help mitigate a lot of that sound. We're also replacing the ceiling tiles with more of an acoustical tile, and that's going to be throughout the campus to help mitigate that sound. There's been a lot since 2006 that has come in the way of technology, for lack of a better word, because again, that was a concern of your fellow neighbors, as well as myself and the directors here and staff, was what would that noise carry? Because again, we know that noise right now in the dining room is sometimes tough. And so that's something that we definitely want to. We have definitely some curtains, some softer seating that will absorb some of that sound. And also I think we have enough of the breaks to help in that regard.
Well, that piece you're showing us doesn't seem to be solving the problem of containing sound. It's very open.
And so again, the containing of sound, again, and don't quote me because I'm not a scientist, but sound travels up and down and all over, right? And so again, as sound is going and we have new ceiling tile, varying heights, softer seating, softer wall coverings and things of that nature to help absorb some of that, so we're not in a hollow box, so to speak. That's, I believe, the intent, and if RDG were here, and I wouldn't speak on their behalf, but I think that's where they plan for that sound to be absorbed. Because again, they know, and they specialize in senior living with sound and know how important it is to make sure we're not creating those tough areas where it looks cute, it looks pretty, but you can't use it. Functionality has to be, and always has been, a piece of this project. Because we can be pretty and look pretty, but if nobody's sitting in it because it's not user-friendly, we have failed. And so that's really also a key in this project, is functionality for you as residents. Again, we want it to be beautiful. We know it will be. But man, if it's not functional and residents don't use it, we have not done what we're set up to do.
We don't have all that tile in the hallway, and as an interior designer, that's the typical restaurant design. That is to create noise in the dining room or bar area so people get up and leave. You know, they don't make them linger.
Okay.
And also in the dining room, you really should have a pop of color, because you want something that irritates people to get them out instead of sitting there for 2 hours with their dinner. That's a rule for restaurants.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that again, these are artist renderings. They can. There's only so much that can be done. The pops of color, the artwork, the different things that I think will be done. And again, we'll have some additional finishes and common area finishes and things of that nature. I think you'll see that. Again, we don't just want grays and blues across the board, and I think that's why you've seen the different warmer colors, like in the entrances and things of that nature. I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not an interior designer, thankfully. And so I do have a lot of confidence and trust in RDG in what they've been able to do and provide, because this isn't the first campus that they've done. And so this is what they do. And so, I hear the concerns, and we definitely want to mitigate those. And continue to provide that feedback. Because these are pieces that I can pass along to the interior designers that I'm sure they have on their docket, so to speak. But yes, I'm trying to get my pen right now. It's stuck in my pocket. What else? Shirley.
The quality that attracts people to East Castle is the friendliness, the caring, the experience of living here. Even you, who intellectually knows that quality, hasn't experienced it of living here. I think it's very important that we try to retain that. I don't think that the company has any understanding of it. And I think it would be very important to have a group of residents who have intimate, face-to-face meetings with the provider.
So we've had those, and we opened it up to residents on 2 o'clock on Tuesday.
I missed that one.
So, and again, I appreciate,
15 people there, Tyler.
and I understand there's 15 people, but at the same time, we had it open to everyone. And so again,
But you didn't have any announcement, it was like last minute, nobody knew about it.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
I felt like it was snuck in.
It should be ongoing, Tyler.
and it will be, and this is all part of it. Again, this is why I'm continuing to provide these
But not
updates.
through you, not
So-
through you. Face to face with the providers.
So they've been on site twice,
But
and
they
they've
need to
met
meet with
with,
residents.
they have.
Yeah, I mean.
They have,
face to
and so they have. And they've met with now approximately 20 to 30 residents, which again, isn't all of residents.
Okay,
It's 20 to 30, which is about 30% of the population.
okay.
And so again, that's what's been driving this feedback. And today's tradition, that warmth and quality, has been the driver for this entire project.
Well, can we continue it?
Of course.
Often?
Of course, they are based in St. Louis, and we aren't their only project. And again, I can make sure that maybe we can do a Zoom and utilize technology.
Maybe they could come stay overnight. We can invite them for dinner.
They were here they saw dinner. And they,
Eat dinner.
well, that would be a little bit outside of the norm, but again, I'm not opposed, but again, trust me when I say that, we want that resident input. And I know change is tough, and it can be difficult, scary. I know that some of you have only experienced what happened in the health center back in 2017. I wasn't here for that. I know that there was minimal resident input, and I know that still might be a concern for some. And I don't want that. But at the same time, we are trying to work alongside and offer opportunities to residents, to staff members, and again, to make this our project. This is your home, and that's the way it's going to be, and that's what's influenced, and will continue. So, any other questions? And I don't want to be like St. John's. I want to make sure you all know that, and I hope you know that this is nothing like St. John's.
Like St. John's, but there still is not a historical component to it, it's too hotel-like, I think.
Okay, Mr. Fry.
I would appreciate it if we could have more advance notice of things like this meeting. It comes a day or two at most in advance, and if you've got other commitments, doctor's appointments or whatever, you can't get there. and things that are repeated on 955 are repeated once or maybe twice, not at convenient times. For example, this meeting is only going to be repeated once. And if you can't come here today, or you watch it today, or can't see it 2 days from now, you don't have a chance to see it. So if 955 could be used more often, and if meetings could be announced more than a week in advance.
Sure, absolutely. We can definitely do that. Also, we do have a YouTube channel, and so it's always available on YouTube, and I can provide those links to you, like this meeting, so you can watch it at your convenience. And so that's always an option, as well as the majority, even the quick trivia with Mike, for instance, I know has a YouTube link in and of itself. So if you're not able to catch it on channel 955 when it's shown or supposed to be shown, reach out to Scott or myself. We can get you a link, and then all you do is click on the link, and it's there for you at your convenience.
It should be a generic link, because you're not available at 11 o'clock Sunday night, and I've got time to watch it.
Well, Jim, you need to let me know ahead of 11 o'clock when you want to watch it. It's two-way street. So we'll make that generic link. Again, if you YouTube, youtube.com, and then just search East Castle Place, I think you'll find a number of things that is on our page. I can send you the link to that. And then maybe you can subscribe to that, and then you'll have access. So, what else? What other questions? Mike?
It doesn't pertain to this. Are you taking generic questions?
Sure.
All right, I have a Laura update that I forgot to tell you all about. Those of you that attend Catholic Mass on Saturdays, Father Gene is going to be unavailable the second and third week of Advent. So those of you that come down on Saturdays for Mass, I think it's the 4th and the 11th. But I know for a fact it's the second and third week of Advent. Father Gene will not be here, and there won't be Catholic Mass on those 2 Saturdays.
Correct. So next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday and the Saturday following. Again, for those of you that participate, I will reach out to the Catholic Home and see if they'll be open to us, and they're open to visitors, so that you can go to Catholic Mass over there. Terry, I think you had your hand up first. Miss Number.
There's no Protestant service next Sunday either.
There is no Protestant service next Sunday either. Thank you. Scott.
Yes, I'd like to know if you're going to change the name of East Castle.
So the question about changing the name of East Castle. No, we are not changing East Castle Place. We are changing the names of the buildings within East Castle
That
Place.
isn't my point. The point is, you're gutting the castle with this modernistic design. And I find it quite offensive, actually. I like what you have here now. I know it could be updated, but not this drastically. And not with, boy, I wouldn't call that a castle.
We're not in a castle right now. This is built in 2006. The castle is in the historic building, and that is the first floor is being changed. So we are not gutting the castle.
Well, you're not gutting the castle, but you're gutting its entrance.
We are changing the entrance.
You're changing the entrance, you're gutting the entrance. It's going to become much more modernistic, and I don't think very many residents are really going to enjoy that change at all. Nobody's going to say very much, because they don't want to get in the hot water. But this is not very good.
I want to say one thing, Tyler, that this is more geared, I think, to people from 35 through 50. So the next people coming in are going to be 60 to 80 years old, roughly. So they have a different way of living. And just since I've been here, I came wearing jeans. And you didn't see anybody else wearing jeans. And now there's a lot of people wearing jeans. So there's those kind of changes. But I think you have to think about the people who grew up in a more traditional home. And this goes more towards the new open concept that's, I think, I'm reading more and more in the design magazines that people aren't appreciating it. There's too much noise. They don't want everything in all in one area. My biggest complaint about the whole thing, though, is the color. I feel like this isn't so bad right here, but in the independent living, it's It's so dark blue, I feel like it's on a roiling ocean with a big storm coming. It's so depressing. And I think you have to have some lighter colors.
Yep, and so, again, I appreciate both points. And I'm not gonna disagree or agree one way or the other. Change is tough, I'll just say that. And so, I also wanna say that the renderings, don't show the color of what it really
I
is.
saw the thing, I sold
Yes,
it
Mr.
the
Huff.
time I left here.
How many people on that design committee are over the age of 60?
All of them?
Over 60?
Over 60, all of them. What do you mean, the design committee?
The people who design
Oh.
From St. Louis.
Oh,
St. Louis people, how many of them are even over the age of 60 and have the mentality of the current residents of East Castle?
the last point, the current mentality of East Castle Place, only you as residents have the mentality of East Castle Place.
That's
And the
right.
staff of East Castle
And
Place.
they don't.
But they do this for the
They're
living.
just selling. They're
I'm-
selling.
That's a sales pitch, Tyler.
That
That is not a design pitch.
is there any other feedback? Joe?
In a little bit of defense here, I know that, they, for example, one thing they did, we pointed out to them that they were gonna change the railing of the loft to, I think, wood or something. And we pointed out the historic stairway to them. They went and they looked at that, and then they redesigned what they were going to do on that loft area. They have done an inventory of all the furniture in the place, and they are reusing certain pieces throughout the building. They're not throwing everything
Did you
out.
see him? You see any of it there?
Yes, I did. In the front lobby, there's a case on the side that I recognized from the.
One case.
And so again, I understand the concern. And again, I also understand that these are 3 pictures of a much larger and once you experience the space piece. And so again, we've received resident input, and we'll continue to receive resident input, and we'll continue to do these
That's
meetings.
why I think we need to have more meetings and
Yep.
show them, especially show them not just this, but show them the other areas, because I'm curious to see when Anna has a meeting with a new prospective customer,
Mhm.
what their feedback is.
Yeah, I mean, we are too.
They say they love it, then I'll go along with it, but if they hate it, I expect something to be done about it.
Well, we're not gonna sell it if they hate it, so we'll have to. Ms. Sundberg.
What's the name of Water Tower? What is that going to be?
So, right now it's a name to be determined. We're very, very close, because we're not just looking, it is not the Lake Drive Estates. I want you to know that. Again, the East Castle mentality, what I've been hearing, do know I listen. And so again, that was very loud and clear. So we have not marketed that, since really I was made aware of the strong dislike for the name. And so we will be East Castle Place. And then within East Castle Place, we most likely are actually going to rename Water Tower, Contemporary, Historic, and Bradford. So that internally we give, again, maybe that's a completely wrong way because change is tough and that's another piece of change. And so what I'll share with you is it's not called the Lake Drive Estates. And I just really want to make sure that's known. Because again, it is on Lake Drive, and that's where that came from, but also knowing Estates is to not East Castle. And so again, that has changed. Don't have the formal, and we look to release that early December, worst case scenario, early January.
And I did find it on the website somewhere.
It may still be on there, but again, in the contracts and what it's referenced, it is not Lake Drive Estates. Yes?
Well, I've only been here for a year, and I think most of the folks here have been here a lot longer and are a lot more qualified. As I've been hearing for the past several months, the concept behind the redesign, I was one of those who, as it was expressed here earlier, that I was a little worried about losing what to me is a hominess, a welcoming, comforting sort of thing, quality woodwork, a nice design, in favor of a more open area. I'm a little bit more comforted now that I've seen these two sketches you have. It is more open. Is the white and gray that was in the entryway and down the dining and the bar area, is that going to be typical of the common areas in all the hallways? Or are there going to be multiple colors?
Yes, so the question is it going to be primarily whites and grays in the dining areas, or will be multiple colors? And I believe the direction is multiple colors. That warmth that East Castle is known for needs to remain. And so again, how the designers do that and how we as a community move forward with that, I think is going to be important. But that's the reason why you saw the different color patterns.
Well, one thing I noticed, and it struck me as a positive, is that with the white that was in the mass areas of the common area, the entryway to that hallway, it seemed to pick up the colors of the carpets that were there, the seat covers. It seemed to pick up the colors pretty effectively. And white has a way of doing that. And the gray is a subtle touch of elegance. I'm kind of pleased with the way the color comes out in the other areas. And as far as it being open in the dining room and the bar, I'm sympathetic to the comment in the back about noise crowding out noise from one area to the other. But you showed the screen up there. Is that screen likely to put up during the dining hours?
It'll be there always.
It'll be there always.
Yeah.
If that can be controlled, I feel a little more comfortable with the design as it's going to occur than I did before I came here, if that's any consequence.
Well, I appreciate that insight. Again, it's right now, I mean, there's two large openings in the dining room, that are open to the hallways. And so again, we still want to maintain, again, we're not expanding the dining room. We're keeping the large columns and the various intricacies. We are changing it to make it more effective for service to you from an employee standpoint, since that's important. But also I hear the concerns, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't anticipate them or expect them. Trust me, I know this is a big change. It's a very, very large change for the community. It's the future of East Castle Place, and again, in 2006, and I wasn't here for that, and I don't know if anybody else was, actually, Teresa Jenkins was. That was a pretty big change. Teresa?
I just have a comment. I can understand that everybody's concerned about what East Castle is gonna look like, the new furniture, but to me, that's not what makes East Castle. What makes East Castle are all of us. The residents, the staff, we make East Castle homey, we make East Castle welcoming, and I don't think any furniture is gonna change that. That's what I want to say.
Thanks, Teresa. So, again, I would tend to agree and lean. I think the culture of you as residents, the warmth, is something that a color or a chair does change. I don't think it does. And I think the people that are attracted to the new are attracted because of that warmth, because of that welcome. Again, there's multiple communities around, and again, these have been shared with perspectives, and will continue to be shared. And so again, we have 40 interested individuals that have said, we want to learn more. And now really the time will tell if they're moving forward. They're going to give us a 10% deposit on apartments that range from anywhere from roughly $370,000 up to $810,000. And they're going to say, here's my 10%, and I want to move forward with East Castle. And many of those residents have experienced East Castle via coming to a meal, coming to a marketing event, coming to the Edelweiss, so on and so forth. and they're only sold more because they have interactions with you. That's outside these walls. So again, I think that's, again, to Teresa's point, the main driver of what East Castle will continue to be. Again, we're adding 30 apartments. We're not adding 300. So again, we'll still be 112 independent living apartments. That's pretty small on the grand scheme of things, comparatively to even right next door or down the road. So again, we still have that niche, so to speak, that warmth, that East Castle way. So again, change is tough. There are things in here that, you know, I've said I don't quite understand, and so 3 other people out of the 4 have said, you know what, that's really what makes sense, and I say, okay, because it's 75%, it's 70%. I know I'm not going to get 100% of individuals that say, Tyler, you knocked it out of the park. I also know that that's just unrealistic, but at the same time, Board of Directors has made the decision to move forward with this project, have partnered, and not just with, I mean, again, it's not just pull the RDG out of a hat. There was select interviews and things of that nature, previous pieces of work that have been done. So again, I know that I'm asking for maybe some trust. I want your feedback. I'm not afraid of the feedback that I'm receiving. I've made some notes. That warmth, we want to continue. And again, I want to hear from you. So I also just wanted to be very transparent. I hope you know that in 4 years that I've been here, it's kind of the way that I like to communicate. You know, to not show those renderings and, you know, good to have these interactions, good to have these discussions. And so I appreciate it. And so thank you. But again, we'll continue these meetings. We'll continue providing updates as we have since April, when this whole thing kicked off. We're now almost 8 months into it, which is crazy. And we are still anticipating to begin in April. And so again, there's gonna be a lot more communication forthcoming and things of that nature. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, feel free to shoot me an email, stop down by my office, stop me in the hallway. Give me a call and say, can you come to my apartment? Again, that's hopefully what I'm here for. I'm not gonna say I can provide every answer, or much so every answer that you may like, but I will try to provide an answer. And then if there's questions or concerns, take those questions and concerns back to the individuals that can make an impact. So again, these renderings definitely look a lot different than what we're initially started with, that are currently still on the website. And I hope you can compare that. But yeah, what else? What other questions? I know we're well over the time. It's almost 2:30, but yes, just come.
Comment yesterday at the movie, there were 21 people.
Okay.
So there's 12 seats for your theater.
Yeah. How many times did we show the movie?
Oh, this one I'm sure Kathy's only showing it once.
Oh, because we could potentially show it 2 or 3 times. And
She doesn't usually.
right, but I think that's again another piece. And we're not adding a huge theater because I don't think that's the best use.
I know, but even for this says, it's going to have that dark ocean blue wall covering again, and blue-gray carpeting with these red chairs. To me, it's going to be, I might get really fall asleep listening to you. And like that.
I mean, if Mike were up here, I can understand that, but you know, just kidding. No, I understand that, and yeah, and usually movie theaters are darker, but again, this space isn't really changing. I mean, again, the wall curtains are going in different colors and things, but again, this will still be the main multi-purpose space, but that.
Well, I understand it, but it's just so dark, you can't just lighten it up.
Sure. I mean, we definitely lighten it up.
I mean, it can be a blue, but then make it a.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lighting is going to change dramatically as well. I think these lights go away, and there's a lot more light that is produced, and that's why I think you might see some of those darker colors too. Because again, these lights are from 2006, and so this whole ceiling gets redone with new lights and new electrical. So. Yep.
And I did tell them, I think they did understand.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. They had a series of notes from the resident meetings that they're taking back. What else? Teresa?
I just gotta, can't be in the meeting and not say nothing, right?
For the record, I don't know what she's gonna say.
I just want to remind everybody, with the holiday season coming up, please be mindful of scammers, because they're out there. If you don't know who's on the other end of your telephone, please don't give out your personal information, credit card, social security, telephone number, because they're calling. So I just want to say, be mindful. And if you don't know who's on the other end of that line, please just hang up.
And scamming emails with Black Friday and all the deals. I've received, I think, 3 thus far.
My mother received one this morning, somebody trying to get into her bank account. So just be careful. If you're not for sure, hang up. On emails, delete. Right, don't click on unknown links. Text messages, if you don't know who it is, don't respond. So people are looking to get money. That's all I have. Since I'm up here, one more thing. Please remember to wear your pendants. I have to get on my soapbox. When you're in your apartment, make sure you have that pendant around your neck, especially if you live alone. That's all I have to say. Any questions while I'm up here? Thank you.
Any other questions before we
Thank you, Jack.
gotta go? I'll be around. I'll be up here. So feel free. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. I hope it's wonderful, and thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes, I know.